Hey guys, today I'll be showcasing a few small contraptions that I've designed recently. So first up, we have a button panel that Datnerd and I designed. We spent quite a bit of time on it. And so you have 8 buttons here and it really outputs a signal strength. So right now it's at 15, drops to 14, and you can go all the way to 8. It's quite convenient and it's quite small and very simple actually. Yeah, so we designed it for endostasis chamber for our Melantech server. I'll just do a very quick walkthrough of how it works. So you have 2 lines here. So you have signal strength 15 here, goes in straight to this comparator. Down here you have signal strength 15 here, 14 here, and then we just subtract a little bit. So all your power comes in through here, and then it goes into a signal strength memory cell. And on the opposite side over here, the signal gets transferred over from here, gets sent over to this repeater and into a comparator that is in subtraction mode to clear off the previous input, so it remembers your most recent input. And you can pull it out from any of these lines here, and then after that you just have a type of red coder over here that Datnerd showed off to me. It's really compact and it's really nice to look at. It's also quite spam proof, so it basically what's going to happen is that it's just going to remember the last button you press, and if you press 2 buttons at the exact same time, it'll just be the higher powered one. So it's really very secure. It won't break very easily. So you see right now 11, perfect. Okay, over here is something I designed by myself, which is one of our Melantech members, Sam. He needed a button panel for the floor, he only needed it 3x3, but I wanted to design something that could be more expandable or larger. So this is very simple. So you have these 2 controls there and here, controlling whether it's which row it is, and then after that you have here deciding which column it is. Something to take note is that when you're switching which column, every time you skip by an even number, so over here to here or here, it's fine, but when you press one that's directly adjacent, so an odd number away, it will show a sort of an animation. That's just a side effect of how it works. Over here you have your output, so if I do that, it just, you can see that. So it's just a single pulse so the output, you can link it up to any sort of one hot system that you want. See, I mentioned how the animation is for the columns, for the rows. As you can see, regardless of which one you're gonna press, there's always going to be a little bit of animation. There is a potential problem where if you spam it too fast, you can cause problems like this, but not to worry. The output will be just the last output you press. So even though it looks like there are 2 outputs, it's actually just one. So the very easy fix is just press it again and it resets. So that's my button panel. It's very simple. So you have over here, you have the column. So it comes down here and it just sets a specific column to run a clock. So right now we have this over here. And then to decide which row is selected, you just have a bunch of pistons over here and a bunch of observers. So you have an observer clock over here, and the only one that's active is this one. So it's a bit annoying to get the observers in the correct place, but I've designed everything already, so it's fine. So when you either select an odd or even column, the output is going to be either on the left or right, which sends to this lattice over here. Sorry, through this lattice here. So what happens is that it's going to toggle the state. So if it powers this line here, what's going to happen is that this line over here is going to get pushed forward and everything else is going to get pushed back. And it's going to be the exact same for the opposite side. For the rows, it's something similar. So you have here, whenever you press something like this, it's just going to output to this line here. And what's going to happen is that it's going to reset everything into a proper state. So as you can see, this is right now, this is the only one that's activated. So what's going to happen is that so this is your indicator. So when that resets, everything gets reset into its current state. So it's just going to be like this. As you can see here, you have this observer pointing the glass, so no power is transferred. And then after that, power gets sent through down here, here, up there, and then it sets. It sets on the opposite side. So it's timed perfectly, so it's just gonna go up from both sides. So whichever side is not set, it will set. So that's how you get your rows right. So yeah, that's just the floor button panel. Over here, I have a very simple and very specific device that I need for one of my contraptions. It is a 4 to 8-bit Pulse Adaptor. So basically what happens is that I have a device that can store 4 bits of information, but most of my system runs on 8-bit. So the easiest solution is just to convert it. So what I can do is, let's say I do 0101. I send it in, so now it's active. It has saved this information over to this side. There's the left part. And then what's going to happen is, let's say I do all on, and if you look at those lamps there, so you get all on, and then 0101, and now it's off again, so there's nothing saved. So I could do nothing on, and then everything on again, and then that's exactly how it goes. The last bit over here is just a clock signal. It's really simple. You just have your observers here transferring the data over here, and what's going to happen is that it's going to set certain pistons. So it's going to push the target block up, and then the next time a clock signal is sent, what's going to happen is that it's going to power this line here. It's going to power the rails. So it's just going to power that on, and at the same time, well, at the same time, slightly later, power is going to be sent through here, and the redstone is directed above to the piston, so it resets everything. That allows me to have a very low latency. So you have this, so when the second 4 bits comes in, it's going to come in through here. It's going to take 2 game ticks through this observer and powers through the rails. So this is a 4 to 8-bit adapter with a 2 game tick latency. Yeah, basically I just wanted to reduce the latency as much as possible, and I managed to get it quite compact. Okay, we have our next device over here, which is a pistonless T-flipflop. Basically in one of my earlier builds, I had a problem with repeaters toggling, and I showed it off to Datnerd, and I thought that it was a useful thing. I just couldn't get it right or couldn't get it compact, and so we thought about it for a while, and he came up with something like this. So as you can see, the repeater is going to toggle every time I hit that. So it's basically very simple. You have observers subtracting the comparator. If you use a redstone block here, you need this in subtraction mode. This is a compare mode. but if you have it in compare mode, it's just fine. So it's right now the power's on, so it's locking the repeater, and it's just gonna momentarily turn this power off, so it unlocks it, and in that time the observer powers the repeater. And I don't fully understand how that works, but it's something to do with the update priority of on repeaters and off repeaters. At least that's what I've been told. So again, every time I press that, it updates. And over here, this is something that's really specific. It's a bit, I don't really know what to call it, but I'll just showcase it to you. So okay, I would say it's a sequential pause clock. Basically what happens is that it's going to work through and it's going to pause at this specific register, and at any point in time it can add or remove. So let's say I turn on the rest, but you can see that this one is the only lamp that's on. It only starts the clock again when I turn off, and then what's going to happen is that it's going to handle one, it's only going to handle one register at once. Turn it off, it handles that, and I could turn this back on again and handles that like this. So basically what happens is that you have, let's say, T-flip-flop, and you have multiple inputs coming in, and you need to know when to handle certain inputs. So this basically forces the system to only handle one input at once. So meaning your builds can be much easier rather than building 4 separate systems to deal with information that simultaneously you can just handle at once. So it doesn't matter, I can turn it off or on, it'll work fine. I also use inverter clock. So right now the power is on, it's stopped here. Then what happens is that when the power goes through, it turns off. So there's an off cycle and an on cycle. I designed it this way so that the likelihood of it ever breaking is extremely low, if at all possible, because it's always self-resetting basically. Again, I can turn on anything at the exact same time and it's just going to handle one thing. I could also do that and off turn on instantly and it'll be fine. Yeah, these are my 5 contraptions that I've built in my free time. I'm still working on a few large projects, but I thought that I should release a video every now and then, so hope you enjoyed. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye!